Hi everyone, it's Kasia from Tarot Map, and this is yet another installment in my Inspired Tarot Map series. And this time I'm hosting Alicia Vamvokakis. And Alicia is the artist and the creator behind the Embroidered Forest Tarot, which just came out after a successful Kickstarter. This deck. Welcome, Alicia. So nice to have you on the series.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk about your deck and your creative process because it's a very unique, original project, and there is nothing like this in the tarot world. So when I saw it, I was just like, wow, why did she chose to embroider things? This is so difficult. It must have cost you so much work. I know that you probably love it as well, but you know, when I look at it, I was just going, oh my God, like this woman, she must have spent like hours doing these little things. 78 cards, wow. So we talk about this deck because it's really, really exciting. But can you firstly tell us a little bit about yourself, like your ancestry, where you're from, who backs you up spiritually, and where you live maybe?
Lovely. Yeah, of course. So as you said, my name's Alicia. I live in the UK, down the south of England in Devon, which is really pretty and rural and nice and quiet. Though you can probably hear the birds, but they're really loud right now. Yeah, it's nature. It's part of the vibe. Yeah, I went to art school. It was the only thing that I was good at. So of course it was the only thing that I wanted to pursue. But I had no real focus. I didn't know what I wanted. I did a bit of jewelry. And then I stumbled upon embroidery and tarot at a very similar time. And I felt that they were both pulling me in different directions, and I wanted to do both of them. But if I would study tarot, I wasn't doing embroidery, and vice versa. And then I kind of had the like the forehead slap moment where I thought, well, I could like study the tarot whilst I'm doing the embroidery, because I need something to embroider. So why don't I embroider tarot card designs, and then I'll deepen my knowledge whilst, because of course embroidery takes a really long time, so I could be studying it at the same time as doing the embroidery, and then using like audio resources. So I would go on YouTube and I would search like, what does this card mean, and what are the deeper, you know, meanings of this. And it was lovely. It was a really long process, but it was one that I really enjoyed. It really was like truly a labor of love. And as I did it, I felt like my embroidery skills got better, and therefore I got a little bit quicker as well, that was a nice plus because I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Where I'm from, like my art background, and then spiritually, I guess I'm still, maybe like a lot of us, figuring that out. I've heard a few words that I think work best to describe me. I think pantheist is one. I really like the other, that there's God, that there's divinity in everything. I do commune with a death goddess, but it is in the like guise of the universe, which I think is quite difficult to explain. I'd say it's that the universe is this really big kind of topic to keep in our minds, and so almost filtering them through the guise of like a goddess figure helps me kind of have that connection, if that makes sense. But yeah, like I said, I'm still really dabbling with that and wondering where that's going to take me, which is quite fun and exciting, but of course very difficult to describe.
Yeah, sometimes the words fail us when it comes to spiritual description of, you know, or like putting ourselves, somehow putting a definition onto ourselves. And I don't think it's really necessary. Definitions always limit us, and who knows, you know, we might just invent totally something new which hasn't been invented yet when it comes to spirituality. So yeah, we don't have to limit ourselves by definitions, but it's always nice to ask and kind of at least which direction you feel drawn to and where you're going.
Like the ballpark.
Yeah, exactly. So with your kind of tarot adventure that kind of started when you decided to create your tarot deck? Or did you have any interest in divination in general, not necessarily just tarot, but like, you know, all things magical? Did you have any interest in this before, or how did it look for you?
I think for lots of people that are interested in tarot and witchcraft and the occult, like there was always something there before, even as like a child. I think everyone's made, you know, potions with mud and water and leaves and mixed it with a stick in their garden, and you know, things like that. And my mum is quite like pagan. I wouldn't say she would call herself a witch, but she would definitely say that she's pagan and very like nature loving and nature based. And it's the same for my grandma, and my grandma was really into her embroidery, and she used to read tarot, so I have a really vague memory of playing with her tarot cards and kind of not really knowing what they meant. And then I think for a long time, from like my teenage years to like my early 20s, I kind of felt like I'll put that down, because I was at university and I was trying to get a job, and I was kind of trying to grown up and sensible, and you know, we all that, so I sort of abandoned those things. And then in 2015 I lost my grandma, and I was really close to her, so that was really painful. And I think around that time, maybe late 2015 early 2016, that's when all those things that I'd kind of put on the back burner, I realized, no, they are really important. And you know, it's not just about feeding, clothing ourselves and working. There is this little spiritual part of me that's kind of been starving, and I need to give some light to that and let that part of me grow. And so yeah, tarot definitely came along before embroidery, but then art and magic and witchcraft was definitely kind of always there. Yeah, and definitely the connection with my grandma. It was really nice to do an art form that I used to do, and it was kind of is cathartic the right word? I'm not sure. Like soothing. It was really comforting and soothing. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it
How interesting. How interesting that your grandma also embroidered. She loved it, yeah. So you probably got the talent, and it's you kind of like continuing the lineage tradition, which is lovely too. Okay, so can you show us a few cards from your tarot, just in case people who never seen it get a chance to see what it is about? And we maybe ask you next if you can tell us like what's the story behind creation of this deck, right? Because when we communicated, you said that there is a story and we're interested in stories. So you can show us and talk about what prompted you to make a tarot deck, aside of just, you know, that you wanted to study tarot in depth and embroidery, what you just said.
Yeah. So start with like the major arcana. Maybe I'll just pick out a few that I really enjoyed or that like meant a lot. So this one, there's the camera this side.
Yeah.
Coming through. This one's the Fool, and I really liked the Robin. There is a tiny little rose that I embroidered into her tummy, and there's some daisies down here too in her little white belly. I think a lot of these details are going to come through obviously in person a lot better. And then she's got some eggs here, and this is a little vintage teacup. So the part of the Fool that's like new and enjoying new beginnings is kind of the daisies and the daffodils, but then she's chosen to put her nest on the ground, which is quite dangerous to do in nature, because of course she could be predated very easily. So there's that element there as well. Let's see who else. I like the High Priestess. So she has little moons. I think she's one of my favorites. She took the most time as well. She has little crescent moons stitched into her front here, and then a crescent moon behind her. And I like that you can see through her eyes. You can see all the galaxy in the background. If I just bring it close.
So can I ask you about? Sorry, like can I ask you just about the High Priestess? So the background, that's like it's just the watercolor, or is it embroidered too? Like what's the?
Yeah, this is fabric that I watercolored. Well, I used alcohol markers and then clear isopropyl alcohol to create the parts that are lighter. You can kind of fade it, so it's watercolor, but it's with alcohol and ink. But it's that process.
Yeah.
yeah, the only ones that I didn't towards the end, they got quite complicated. So for instance, the world, this is fabric that I purchased that was like this, and I then embroidered this over the top.
Okay.
So it's, yeah.
I think I can easily say that I'm an embroidering idiot. Like I'd never done anything. For me, when I saw your project, I was just going like, why in the world would you do that? Like it seemed just so time consuming for me, because I can't do it, you know, but I really admire when it's done, because it's just so beautiful. But when I think of like the work, I was just like, oh my God, that would be like the worst punishment for me if somebody else could do this. Like, no. That's why I'm kind of like maybe asking stupid questions, but yeah, I can see that, like, yeah, the owl is embroidered, and then you also bought some materials but also made some for the backgrounds. Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, some of them, they then another layer that is added in post, I suppose. So like this is a good example. So then the foil that you can see, the silver element, is that coming through?
Yeah,
I'm just going to keep moving it. Yeah, so then that I would add in Photoshop. So I would like draw over the top, and then they would know that that's like an extra layer, and then that file gets printed separately to have that silver foil on. I learned a lot about printing practices, which I didn't know that would be a thing. I thought I could just send it to them, but no, it doesn't work like that.
no, yeah, that's like another part of big job when it comes to choosing the publisher. And I saw how many, you know, how often really beautiful project get fucked by just having bad advice from publisher, or just the publishing didn't, the printing doesn't go as well as it should be, and the project itself is amazing, but then it gets really kind of rubbished by how it's published. Yeah, so you did
it's
job, I think. I have to see it in my hands, but it looks amazing in pictures, and usually the cards look even better in reality, you know, when you see like the little rows. Like I couldn't see it on the screen here, but
I think I have some photos of them on Instagram, but I forget what I've taken photos of and what I haven't. And if you scroll back far enough, you can see me creating each card and showing each design at the same time. And that's what I'm going to put in my article of the making of the decks. It's all in one place, because nobody's going to scroll back to a year ago or 2 years ago. So I'll show my favorite, and then maybe you could pick a card or something that you'd like to show. So mine is the death card. So as I said, my matron is a death goddess. So she's part of the closed religion. So I don't I can't help what I believe, but also I recognize I'm a white person that lives in England. I'm not the best person to talk about this, and that it should be part of the culture. They speak about her. So but when this card pops up, it's because like she's got something to say. So I'm like, oh, okay, I need to do my shadow work. I need to journal. I need to go meditate about this. I'm hoping that I can get the details.
Yeah, we can see.
So I did some.
Yeah, it's
so
Zoom. It's not going to be very clear, but it's quite clear.
Yeah.
I think it's even better if you hold it a little bit further away than too close, because it's just no, not like this. Maybe like you were showing before, it was fine. Yeah, like this, perfect.
Yeah. So I've got the snake here. It's an adder, which is the only snake that's poisonous in the UK. And he's kind of coming through an owl skull. And I did cross hatching, which is like a drawing technique, but I drew with the thread, which was hard. And this was a different fabric to this background as well. So I had to overstitch, which is popping more fabric on top, and then you cut around it, and then you have to be very precise. And then like you use hairspray to keep it still whilst you then stitch over it. And then I've got, I'm blanking, what are they called? Oh, Deadly Nightshade, the flower and the berries down here, that of course they're deadly. And I just think it's one of my favorites. I really enjoyed the little details on the snake's skin. It comes through. I'm hoping it comes through on the card, but I've been told that they have a lot of like depth to them, that they feel like they are very like textured. So do you have like cards that are your staple within a deck that you're like, I need to know what this looks like, or I need this one to be good?
I'm usually curious about the Pope, the Judgment, and Temperance. I mean, Death as
Okay.
well, when you showed. But could you show me, like, for example, yeah, the Judgment and the Temperance, or Judgment and Pope, or three of them?
Hope is, do you mean the star?
The Hierophant.
Oh, yeah. There he is. Okay. So this is the hierarchy. So it's an oak tree, which symbolizes wisdom. And it starts from spring, and then it goes through the seasons as we go through. So spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And there is a raven here, a one-eyed raven, again with the knowledge. And I liked for this one that it was almost like the raven was the communicator between the tree and the people, because ravens are like parrots, and they can speak and they can memorize words, which I think one of the things I didn't expect was that I researched so much about wildlife, and I loved wildlife before, but afterwards, just knowing all of the intricacies and the ins and outs of the animal behavior in the natural world was so exciting. And any time I would get a little bit bored, I'd start researching the next card, and I'd be like, oh, I'm going to use this animal. And there were so many times that an animal fits into tarot, because tarot is the full spectrum of life, and it was like another little thrill, and it made me just so excited to keep going again.
Oh, I so totally understand what you're saying. And I have to say, this Hierophant is amazing. I love it, how you captured like the wisdom to see the changes, and through nature it's so nice to observe. And the raven, I agree, so such an intelligent animal, and so connected to magic as well, and to this kind of inner knowledge. So beautiful. And I love that it doesn't have the connotation with church, but with teaching and observation, and like beautiful. Okay, next one. I'm excited now.
So is the Temperance card. So we have two otters. We have a land otter and a sea otter. So they create a heart, and they create like unity between the two of them. So this one gets mistaken for the lovers sometimes. I think it's because of the heart. But what I was trying to do was to say that, like, because Temperance is about balance and being on the land and sea, take exactly what you need. So I was saying that, like, otters are this really diverse animal, that they can live on the land and they can live on the sea, and they know exactly when to play, they know when to hunt, they know when to be serious. And I like all the little details, these flowers and roses, and there's some butterflies in there, and then here the waves, and there's some seashells and like a little starfish. And I fell in love with otters. Every time I made a card about them, I would then fall in love with that animal even more. It was
they're so
lovely
funny. Yeah, the otters are just so funny to watch. Also, they're so cute. The just pretty faces. They can be nasty sometimes, but they really cute. Yeah. But it's really beautiful, and I can see why the people would go like lovers, because it's like two and hard. Yeah, it's kind of easy to get, but I love the association that you gave with the water and earth, and the wave, and here the flowers. Beautiful. So what's next? The Judgment.
So this, Judgment. So this one, the Judgment card, I think, was one that when I was first learning tarot, I really struggled to understand, and I really did have to sit a lot and do a lot of research with this one. And I also don't like you're going to be judged by a higher power, and the things like that with maybe some organized religions. So I decided to turn this to one of like self-evaluation, and not when we die, but as we're living each day, like we can choose, like, was that the best I could have done? Can I be a bit nicer? Can I be a bit more humble? That kind of thing. So I chose a pine marten because they're quite rare. So when you see one, if you ever see one, that's like something to be recognized and remembered. And then I like to be half skull, half animal, and looking through an amethyst eye, because of everything that like healing crystals and amethyst stands for, like clarity of mind and things. And then this one's stitched on a velvet background. I like the anytime that there's a little bit of death or it's a little bit scary, I like to make it nice and soft, and it's pink, and it's so there's comfort there too. And I like the relationship between death and judgment, how one is about finality and then one is about beginnings and fresh starts after this, the finality. And I think because they're the same, they both have a skull on, they do look a little bit similar.
So can you repeat what animal is it? Because I didn't get it.
Oh, pine marten. They are like stoats or like weasels.
Okay.
And they are in like northern the UK, like Scotland. They have some up there, and they're very wild. They're quite vicious, but they're quite private, so they know when it's time to kind of hide and when they need to go out. And they hibernate as well, which I think is a really important card for judgment, because of course whilst you're hibernating, you're thinking and assessing and growing and hopefully becoming, you know.
Yeah, that reminds me a little bit of Goddess Hell, you know, how she's like half yeah. Okay, yeah. Cool. I'm happy with all the cards I picked. Thank you. So
I thought maybe the partner.
Yeah.
I just picked from each. So the wands are represented by foxes and sunflowers, and I like that because they're quite fiery. Foxes are very intelligent, they're very playful, but they again, they have that, like, they can bite, they can be quite nasty if they need to. For swords, I pick bees because they carry around little swords, and dandelions, and that's because how those flowers and the bees would interact with air. That like people like really like that.
I love what you said. Sorry, I love what you said about bees, that bees carry around little swords. It's so true. Because usually you wouldn't pick bees for swords, right? Like you would pick them maybe for pentacles or something because they like make a lot of honey. But that's interesting connotation, actually. Makes sense. Yeah.
And then I picked hares. So they live by underground, they feed off the grass of the ground. And then daisies, I liked the really like grounding, you know, like no one says that, oh, the daisy is the most beautiful flower, but you know, they're everywhere. They help the grass. They grow at the same pace as grass. So they fit really well. Their seeds disperse really easily. And they just, for me, daisies have a really grounding, calming like energy, like making daisy chains. And I just liked that, like as children, we've all seen a daisy, we've all played with them. Yes, they're common, but they're the ones that we have the memories about. And then hares, I just like that they're not as domesticated as rabbits. And they, like, the females will fight with the males. And I like that. I like when earth elements have a lot going on for them. I don't like when it's just like, oh, they're earth, you know, they're grounded and they're calm. I'm just like, well, no one's like that all the time.
Exactly. You know? Especially not earth. Like, I think earth gets misunderstood a lot. Earth gets like kind of pushed into the drawer of boring element, like nothing is ever happening, it's stable, slow, and nothing moves there. But it kind of encompasses really our whole lives. Like, yeah, it gets definitely the volume of action, and yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And that, I think, I wanted to make sure every card and every suit, I wanted to make sure they had nuances, that they weren't just like tropes and like cookie cutter and just like, oh, here's another tarot deck. If I was doing it properly. And like when I started, I thought it would just be like, oh, I'll print one locally for me because I've done this big project, and then maybe one for my mum, and then, you know, I'll give that to her at Christmas. And that didn't happen, but we can do that bit next. So the final card, swans for the cups, and lilies. And I think the swans are my favorite suit because they're emotional and they're graceful. And I just really, and this one's the 10 of cups. So I think like the happy card, isn't it? Like 10 of cups in the sun. I heard a really funny joke, and it said, if you see the sun card in tarot, you win at tarot. And well, it's a game. I'm not a game.
Yeah. I'm always the one which goes like, you know, every card has the polarity of black and white, right? Because the sun can blind you, it can bloody hell, you can, if you meet a sun personality, it's like, oh, just look at me, you know, you never get a word in. they will be just like taking the lime spot all the time, like there's nobody better than them, right? Because they're so amazing. For fuck's sake, like just look at me. Susan can also get a touch annoying if it's on overdraft, but yeah, I would prefer to do the sun cut as an answer to my question than, let's say, 10 of swords.
Yeah. I can't say very much. I'm a Leo, so
yeah. Well, I've got Leo ascendant, so I get it. I like a little bit of shine, please. Okay. No, but that's interesting. That's really fun. And to be honest, as much as I was already loving your project after you explained each of the cards, like I would love you to do like a video lesson explaining every card. You should do it and you should sell it. It's really beautiful, like it's interesting. And I wanted to ask you, do you put some of this information into the little white book with the nature kind of? You do? Oh, great. Because I love when people, I mean, I hate when people don't do it because it's so important. And it helps you to really connect to the card because, you know, you might know these things, but a lot of people won't know. And they go, why did she put authors on temperance? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And they kind of disconnect if they don't go on and check on Google, you know, and many people won't.
Yeah.
So putting it in, it's really important.
So I have a very bad habit of like talking too much or waffling, and it turns out that happens in writing as well, because my little book isn't very little, like compared to it's quite chunky. So each so there's the spreads, and then I'll just show kind of this one's the star and the moon, so it's quite small writing and quite a lot for each card. And then for the suits, there's like what the suit is in general, and then each card has its own as well. And yeah, I thought that I wanted, if I was going to do it, I wanted to make it approachable. I've backed a few indie tarot decks on Kickstarter before, and like you said, they've not had a guidebook, or they've had like 1 or 2 lines, and I've been like, ooh, okay, and it's been a bit intimidating, and I didn't want that, because learning tarot is already quite, you know, it's a journey. And so I thought maybe I could, if this is someone's first tarot deck, maybe I could just make it a little bit easier for them. Lots of people have said it's like when they proceed the tarot, it's like that Sunday they go around to their grandma's house and they go see, and their grandma's been doing embroidery, and you know, they have a cup of tea and they have some biscuits, and it's like really like comforting. And so as you know about my grandma and things, it's really nice that comes through, and I didn't expect it. And every time I receive a message like that, it makes me cry, but in a nice way, like a good cry, not a sad one.
Wow, no, that's really sweet. And I really wanted to applaud you for the effort put into this deck. Seriously, I think it's probably out of, like, you know, there is quite a few, like for example this Mysteries of Mary tarot deck, you know, Hetien did, she actually created for each card, she created an altar like this, you know. So then she was photographing, then she was photographing the altars. So you can imagine also there's a lot of work. And now she's finishing Black Madonna tarot, which also is the same, like, you know, there's altar for each Black Madonna. Yeah. So then your deck, I think because you know, it's always a lot of work, like when you paint or draw, you know, I'm not saying like, oh, this is not like it's easy, it's not the point, but like, you know, at least for me personally, like when I imagine this kind of detail you had to, you know, because you probably, how big were the originals? Like, yeah, so they weren't like, you know, they weren't huge, like you had to be really kind of focused, and then that's probably like great meditative process as well. So can you speak a little bit about the process? Like, how did you go about it? Did you, I don't know, dream about this is going to be temperance, or like, how did you, you know, choose the animals? How did you know which card? Did you go via like full magician, high priestess, like, or tell us?
Yeah. So I have this part of my personality on the one side that is very methodical. I have a bullet journal, write down my to-do list every morning. I wake up at the same time. But then that's not my artist side, which is like, let's just do everything and do it all and do it right now. So I realized that this is a really big project, and if I was going to do it properly, I would have to do both those parts, like the good side of the methodical part and then the good side of the kind of chaos creation. So yeah, I started with the Fool, and I redid the Fool about 5 times. So at the beginning, I had this idea that they would be like all layers. So I would do a watercolor background, and then I would just embroider the animal, and then maybe I would have, you know, like a flora or like the Victorian kind of sticker designs. I would like apply those like dried flowers and things like that, and I tried it a few times, and it just looked like a kind of junk had been thrown down. It was too much, it was too cluttered. And then I wanted like doilies and things, so it really did look like grandma's coffee table. And again, that was another design. It was too busy, it didn't make sense, you couldn't see that it was embroidered. And then so I was like, okay, what if I was just to describe that card, what that card meant to me as I had discovered it up to this point, because it was 2 years, like it took 2 years, so this was 2 years ago. So I was like, what if I just used thread and the fabric to describe it? So any background has to be on the fabric, and any animal or the whatever I'm describing, let's just embroider it, because I thought I'd save myself some time if I only embroidered the animal, but it didn't look right. So I was like, okay, the medium is embroidery, let's just go with it and see what happens. And each card, particularly the major arcana, each card would take me 1 week. So Monday, Tuesday, meditate, dream, get some ideas. I would just have paper and I would just like write down like new beginnings, this, that. And to keep me kind of having the same theme, I was like, okay, what is like a flower that can describe this, or what is a herb or a plant, and then what animal do I think can be like the person, because I liked, if I was going to put people in it, I was going to make them inclusive of all genders and races. And my embroidery skills, they were not up to scratch to handle people at this point. They looked funny.
Those bloody noses. Nose never works out. Yeah.
Oh my god. Because at one point I was going to have like the robin was coming to sit on a hand. Well, I couldn't embroider a hand.
The earth is global, but I can understand. Actually, I'm happy. There's quite a lot of people who don't like humans in the deck, and I noticed it's really hard to be inclusive in some way, because there's always somebody you meet, and then there's quite, you know, like or sometimes you include different races and not in the right cards, like, you know, there's always somebody that's not happy. So I think avoiding humans is quite a wise way to get out of this conundrum. Or you have to do a lot of research and actually be really kind of respectful and mindful how you choose to depict different races as well. Because often it's just still from the very white supreme position that other races get depicted. And that's really kind of even more annoying sometimes than just, you know, not including people.
I thought because of course I'm a white person, I'm pretty sure I don't know every single culture and tribe out there, and it would be quite ignorant for me to just think I could just wiki search them. I feel like that wouldn't be giving them the respect that they deserve. So I thought I'll play to my strengths. I know a lot about animals already, and I can research even more. So I kind of had 3 projects. I kind of had learning tarot deeper, learning embroidery, and like really deeply like learning animals. So I have this massive sketchbook. It's like it's a step. You can you can like rest things on it like a table, and everything. I just put everything in there, and I kind of would have like a section. So yeah, like I said, Monday and Tuesday was like meditate, write things down, learn, and then Wednesday through Friday was stitch it, create it, and then Saturday and Sunday I I did a really nice thing. I'm glad I did, because I realized it's really difficult to say, oh, it's going to be a tarot card, but right now it's like fabric that I've just taken a photo of on my floor. Like, it's a very like strange thing, and there hasn't been anything that I've seen like this before. So what I would do is I would, on my home printer, I would print it out, and then I've got a toner printer as well, so I can create things. It looks like the silver foil. So obviously, like, a home printer is not as good as the finished ones that I've done, but for each like embroidered piece, I would then put the card that I made next to it. And then once I got into that and I was doing a few, people could see like, oh, that this is what it's going to be. And yeah, that, I think, because I don't know why I started posting it. I was bored. I had depression. I think maybe we should talk about that, the deck process. But yeah, I wasn't leaving the house, so I had a lot of time. So the fact that it took a long time was okay for me, because it was something I could focus on that was quite healing and, like I said, soothing, because of the embroidery and my grandma. It moved me away from that dark place, which was really nice.
Yeah. And do you want to just say a little bit more about it, or should we just move to some other questions? Because I was wondering, sometimes when you have depression, like, it's really hard to pick up something and actually focus on something for a long time. So did you struggle with this, or was it just like that it just felt right? So, because sometimes when it feels right, it can pick you up, right? Like an art project or something creative. Like, how did it work for you? Oh, I think I lost
I think at the... Am I back?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think at the beginning, when I was struggling to find the theme, and like I said, I did the Fool so many times, that was the hardest part for me. But once I'd say maybe after I did the High Priestess, I did the Fool, the Magician, and the High Priestess in like 2 weeks, and then I had 3 cards, and then I printed them out, and I did the 3 card reading. I didn't have like the back. Oh, this is the book. Hang on. So I didn't have like the back or anything designed, but I had these 3 cards, and I laid them out. And at this point, I think I had about 100 followers, or tiny little Instagram account. And someone said, "Oh my God, what tarot deck is this? I want to buy it." And
that was it. That was the inspiration you needed. But this is something I want to make sure I say, because that's really happened to me so many times, that you don't know what a little gesture of yours can inspire someone, what silly comment you think you put can really be appreciated by somebody else. Like, if you like something, if you enjoy something, very help, comment, like it really, in this especially virtual world, it really makes like, for artists, like, we appreciate it so much. And it doesn't matter, like, it's not money related, it's just the pure human to human appreciation, or sometimes idea giving, or inspiration, or just like inspiration to keep going, to, like, yeah, it's amazing. So thanks for sharing this. Yeah
that was the first moment that I was like, other people will want embroidery and tarot. When I thought, so in England we have this saying that something is Marmite. I don't know if you heard.
No.
So Marmite is like this spread. It's kind of like those birds, I'm sorry, they're really loud.
No, but I know what Marmite is, because I lived in Australia for a long time, so they kind of, I think they took it from you.
Yeah. Yeah. So we call it Marmite, and it means this is a polarizing thing. And so that's what I thought it would. Before I started, I was like, nobody really cares about embroidery. It's what, grandmas do. And like, tarot is this like weird tiny community, which, I mean, it's not. This is 2 years ago, and it just keeps growing, and the community is really large and like really lovely. But at the time I was like, this is just a weird thing I'm doing, because I'm indoors all the time. And so what would happen is every time I would post one of those stuff like, here's the embroidery and here's the card, more people would message me and say like, hey, when you finish this, I want a copy. So I was like, oh yeah, okay. And I would like take their names and their details and things like that. And I'd be like, well, okay, I'm gonna use this local printer in the UK. And so, okay, yeah, I'll order like another one for you. And okay, cool. And by the time I'd finished the major arcana, I had like 2,000 followers and lots of people wanted it. And I couldn't keep all of their numbers and their details and things in my head. So that's when I was like, okay, I'll do like a Kickstarter. Like a crowdfunding thing, and then I can everyone's details will just stay there and they'll be safe. And then of course they pay before, because I was like, well, I don't mind sending an extra one to my friends that I have on Instagram, but I have to make like 20 now. I can't afford like 20. So I could, get the money and then do it that way and kind of like do it like a pre-order. And it just went insane on the Kickstarter. I thought I'd have maybe like 10 people, and it was like almost 100. It was like, I would cry so much. I'd be so amazed that this project isn't Marmite. It's not. It's just style. It's an art style that people really like.
I really love it also because I think a lot of creative projects don't start by artists making them to sell them. They start from like just this pure inspiration. And then like, that's how, I created for many years those, I just can't believe I used past tense, but yeah, I do the crystal wands as well, I used to do them a lot as wands of transformation. And that was the same, like I did some wands and I posted them on Facebook in 2010, and my friends started going, I want one. So I thought, okay, I'll just make some for my friends as gifts, and then some strangers like, I want to buy one. And that's how it started. I never made them and thought, oh, I'm going to sell the wands, it was just like, just happened.
Yeah.
I saw that you have a shop as well. I will link your website below so people can go check it out, order the deck if they like it, and just see your embroidery as well, because you do jewelry with embroidery and some like art you can put on walls and some other like magical items. I saw this beret with the you like embroidered the death kind of skeleton with butterfly wings or moth wings. Amazing. That's so cool. So yeah, I would like everybody to go check it out at least, and even if they don't like embroidery, just take a look, and see what she comes up with, because it's really fascinating. And can you maybe share with us to wrap it up, because we could be going and going, I think. But can you share with us maybe some ways of how do you use your cards, or how do you use tarot in general? I know that you mentioned you doing some magical stuff, so I think it's going to be interesting for many of us.
So I have a blog article about this, so if people want to like really do it, I have the step-by-steps that they can follow. Also, when you were saying about,
sorry, just to make sure, like I would love you to send me the link, so I can also link it below, so they can, you can guys just go and click on the blog and you can get connected to your vlog straight away to this article.
Yeah, I can do that. So yeah, when you were saying about having like videos of each card, I have that on my IGTV. I have it of the major arcana. So it's a while back now, but they can go look, and it has the specific actual my cards that I embroidered.
I'm going to go there.
Yes.
Definitely look at this, because I loved when you were telling that. Like, it's just like, I was just really captivated going, no, because I love animals as well, and I watch them, and it's really fascinating. And I now really remember the cards, like I really know why the card is the way it is. It really makes sense. So it's great.
Thank you. Yeah, so my like favorite way that I like to use tarot is using them for a spell. So I have a few different variations, but essentially I'll cast a circle, I'll invite in deity, and then I'll like, instead of just allowing a card to come to me, I'll like actually look through. And so say if I want motivation because I want to maybe go to the gym, I've not been in a while and I'm a bit nervous to like walk in the door, I might get the strength card, or maybe, ooh, what would be a good one in like the minor arcana? Maybe like
Knight of
7 or the 8.
Knight of,
Yeah, 9 of Wands would be great. Something for like, oh yeah, for like power, or maybe, yeah, like strength. Or maybe if I'm having my husband's a personal trainer, so I know a lot of that kind of stuff, like poses and things. Yeah. The face is what made it. Or
I've never been to a gym. Like, I've never really exercised. But no, I went once. I signed up for a month, but I just decided no. I only went to this extra classes, you know, which they offer sometimes, yoga, dancing, something. But I couldn't just deal with the machinery. I just felt like, oh no, maybe with personal trainer it would make sense. But by myself, I
yeah,
felt like, oh, boring.
of course, that's what my husband does. He breaks it down so it's not intimidating. It'd be very similar to tarot, you know, when people have a look at it, oh my god, 78 cards, and look at these paragraphs about the meanings. Oh, how am I ever gonna remember, you know? And then we kind of get a routine, and very similar with the gym. So another card I might use if I'm having maybe like a bit of a sad day or something, like just a down day, I might go find the sun. So you pick it based on your needs, what you need right now. Or I love like the Ace of Pentacles if I'm like doing like money manifestation, like Ace of Pentacles, and I'll light a candle next to it. I'll maybe say a few words. Again, I have them written down of like what might be a good thing to say. But I might say like, you know, grant me luck and fortune today, or I'm trying to turn the situation around, or, you know, if it harms none and for the good of all. I like to include those things because I don't want to feel like me attaining something is meaning someone else loses something. And with the sun, I might say, please take these negative feelings and transmute them into something that can be used positively for someone else. Something like that. So I don't want to feel like my spell or kind of tweaking with the universe is, you know, messing with somebody else in a negative way. But then I'll just keep that card with me all day. I'll put it under my pillow at night time. I'll kind of charge it with like a crystal. Maybe for the sun I'll use citrine, or just like something that it gives me like power. Maybe for the strength card I'll use amethyst, and then I might keep the crystal and the card with me all day. And I like to feel like I've charged it, and then I can have that with me, and I'll use it as a bookmark, or, you know, pin it somewhere, or like hang it somewhere so I can like look at it all day. And it feels nice. It kind of feels like a visual manifestation, like mantra. And yeah, it's quick and it's easy, but it feels really effective.
Yeah, that's really cool. But I really like it when you also work with cards, like consciously pick cards. So not only, you know, by random kind of choosing, but consciously as well. It's another way to really nicely learn tarot as well, and kind of use it, personalize it a bit. I also did a video at some point on manifestation with a tarot deck as well, and with like a ritual when you light a green candle or a you know, honey candle, and you sprinkle cinnamon, and it just makes this nice. I will link this video below as well under your article, blog article, I think, for people who might want to do some manifestation or working magically, like a bit more consciously with cards. They can do this too. And yeah, I think, do you want to add anything else, or should we wrap it up?
Yeah, no, I think that's everything really. Thank you so much.
Go. You say now, because we both start talking. You have the voice now.
Oh, what to say, like a few words to people. Yeah, I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful for you for having me, for showing your audience my little tarot deck. There was one thing that I do get asked a lot, like how did you do this? Why did you do this? And I think the shift that I've made in my mind that I think has made all this possible is to, instead of seeing what you do and what other people do as like purely talent based, like it's this thing that you have it or you don't have it, and you're just screwed if you don't have it. That's really negative. So instead of that kind of thought path. I like to see everything as like a skill-based mindset. So everything from learning tarot to learning embroidery to learning about the animals, it's all a skill. So if it's a skill, you can go find a YouTube video, you can find a blog, there'll be a book, and there'll be a step-by-step process that you can use, and you'll have that skill, and then you'll get really good at that skill, and then people will just say it's talent.
There's definitely a lot of truth to this, and I think, you know, we do have I think I totally agree with you, and I think what you are drawn to develop, that's probably where your talent really lies, because, you know, like, let's say I wouldn't probably be drawn so much to do embroidery because it just doesn't call me, even though I admire it a lot, but it just doesn't call me. But yet give me tarot cards or something, you know, like, so your project was perfect, because now I can go like, I even want to try embroidery, bloody I just can imagine, oh my God, if I ever do it, Alicia, I'm just going to send you a picture and you cannot laugh.
I think embroidery is very, very accessible, but the reason I say it is because it doesn't have to be embroidery. Whatever it is, if it's writing a book, if it's making a film, anything that someone has been like, I really want to do this and I'm called to do this, but you know, that person is a talented writer, that person is a talented filmmaker, I'm not like that. I think they do themselves harm when they say, I could never do that. And if you see it as a skill that you can practice and that you can build up, I know it's cheesy to say, but you really can do anything. And I think that's what, at the core, that is what this project, the Instagram, that's what it's all about. Like, yes, pretty pictures and they all have the silver and stuff on them, but at the end of the day, it was me deciding every day, I am going to and doing it. And yeah, I think the whole how do you make yourself do it? Tell yourself it's a skill that you're building, not it's just this whimsical talent that you have, and then it can be, those steps are quite practical to build up. And I think that's my one tip if someone wants to start something really, really big, to just break it down, find the skills that you need, go look for the resources for those skills, YouTube videos, whatnot, and then just start, and it will get you there.
Totally, I totally agree. And you often see it in sports as well. You know, sometimes you hear, like, we had this one ski jumper and they said like, oh my God, when he started, they gave him like no chances. He had no talent. Now he's like one of the best ski jumpers in the world, just by pure practicing and doing this thing. So yeah, definitely agree. And I think we can probably finish. I just have nothing else to say. You said it also beautifully. So we're finishing on this note. Thank you for being my guest. I'm really inspired now, and I can't wait for the deck and to just have it in my hands and to see it and play with it. And I hope people will love this interview and they will watch it and get your deck as well, because it's just something very unique and beautiful. So thank you so much for being my guest. It was lovely to meet you. I'm just going to stop the recording. Thanks everyone for watching, and I see you next time. Bye.